download of all the things that he wanted to do. And it was actually a long list of stuff. And one of the first things that he said was that he wanted to do a new version of Stormtrooper and wanted to create it, make them out of droids. And I was so excited because, obviously I love droids, I love technology, and that was one of the first things that I did. And that was, in fact, the first drawing I did for Star Wars. And it's really hard. Droids, at that time, I didn't learn the lesson of personality. And so I was just drawing them mechanically, trying to literally translate what I heard into an illustration, and it wasn't working. I couldn't find the right look. And that's when I realized that research was so critical. That's why George has, at his ranch, a fantastic research library. And so I started looking at research, looking for inspiration, and I found this African art sculpture book. And it was amazing, where I saw these beautifully stylized African figures that actually looked mechanical. And I thought, wow, could there be something in there? And that's why I started to design the battle droids with the long head and the short torso, with the long torso and the short legs, because I really wanted to translate that. And that started to anchor the design in something because you could relate to it. And this was one of the biggest lessons that I learned, is that you never want to just draw in a vacuum. Do your research, ground it in something that you're familiar with, and then twist it. If you can find those magic ingredients and look at it in a new way, it actually becomes something really powerful. All of the designs that you see in Star Wars has a strong foundation in reality. And that was really sort of my biggest lesson, because prior to that, working at ILM, I thought, okay, you have to be a purist. Don't do research, just come up with it. Don't look at references. You have to invent it. You have to just, create it out of thin air. And that was absolutely wrong. The magic formula is that it's how you perceive the world. So for me, for the battle droids, I really started looking at what was already done by African art, stylizing it, and then translating it into Star Wars. And what happens is that all that history that came with the original source is now grounded within that design. And that's why I think it works really well. And I have to say, to answer your question, I love the battle droids, because there's something that I'm really happy with, because for me, it fit the brief really well, because it's a good translation of a robotic version of a Stormtrooper. It's skeletal, which gets back to the Ray Harryhausen roots for me, for the fighting skeletons, which I really love. And plus, it was just kind of a nice solution, I thought, to the brief.